Well, here we are again, you guys, with our next little video in this weight loss and the mind. I think that's what we'll call it, weight loss and the mind, because you know what? Dieting really does begin in the mind. It begins with your thought processes towards food, towards your body, towards your own self-worth. All of that goes hand in hand together. It's really not just about food choices. It's about why we make the choices that we do. Yeah, and we've kind of talked about that before. So I'll have the little list linked for you down below for all of those videos in the Transformation Tuesday playlist. Go back and take a look at them. You'll see all the weigh-ins and all the stuff that we've talked about along the way, like yeast and sugar overloads and all that kind of stuff. There's been some really great information, but I really wanted to take us more in the direction of the mental side of food, because if you're like me, the ups and downs, the losing weight and putting it all back on and all of that, it really has a lot to do with how we're viewing food or how we're viewing ourselves. So this week I wanted to talk a little bit about what has derailed me this time and kind of gotten me back on a path of not making the best choices. And the number one thing for me this time, and I have noticed it a pattern of times in the past as well, and maybe you're going to be able to relate, is that when you're doing good and when you're shedding those pounds and you're actually starting to look better and feel better, you get around people that you haven't seen in a while and they notice that you've also lost some weight and they talk about, wow, you're looking really great. And then you make a bad choice, say that big delicious chocolate chip cookie that you had after dinner, or an ice cream sundae that you got and you only had one, but you realize that, okay, it didn't sabotage me and it didn't throw me off course and I'm still losing weight and I'm still looking good, so I can have another one, and then I can have another one, and I can have another one, and you think that it's not catching up to you. And the more that people compliment you, the more that you look in the mirror and see that you're fitting into smaller clothes, the more that you begin to believe that those bad choices aren't affecting you, when in reality they are. They are putting those doses of sugar back in your body that gets your body addicted to it again. Remember, we've talked about that. The sugar is a chemical, and it actually has been proven that it can have a stronger addiction than meth for people that are on drugs. Can you believe that? Absolutely. So every time that you're making those choices, you're making them because, oh wow, this tastes so good and it's not affecting me. I still look really good. You're not even stopping to think and consider the consequences on the long term, what it really is doing to your body. And that's where I have found myself this time. I have to be honest with you. It's like every time that I made the bad choice to add in a little bit more of the sugar again, I didn't notice the scale fluctuating right away. My clothes were still fitting fine. People were telling me that I was doing a great job and that I was looking so much healthier and better, and I still felt so much better that there was some deception there, and I allowed myself to fall into that trap of thinking, a little bit won't hurt, a little bit won't hurt. And then what I would tell myself was, okay, well, I got away with it this time. I'm just going to have one more donut tonight and then I won't eat it again for the next month. Or I'm just going to have one more cookie, or I'm just going to finish off this dessert tonight and then I won't have any more. And I found myself saying that like every single day because you have the best of intentions, but again, you don't really see the results of it catching up with you right away, and you feel like one more day won't hurt until you know it and you've put back on about 10 pounds or maybe even more for you, wherever your journey is, or you start realizing that you're feeling more sluggish again and you're feeling tired again and maybe a little bit grumpy again because those chemical imbalances are happening. Then you realize, wait a minute, I really wasn't getting away with it like I thought I was. So that brings us back down to the bottom line is that we have to be making our food choices based on what's good for us and what's healthy for our bodies. That has to be the bottom line. We have to begin looking at food truly as the fuel for our bodies that it was intended to be. And there are so many good natural fruits that are very sweet and can soothe that sweet tooth that you have, that really and truly all of those processed foods and all of that junky dessert isn't really necessary after all. So that's kind of just where I wanted to talk today. You know, that the deception of, oh, I'm getting away with it, a little bit won't hurt, and before you know it, those little bits add up and they add up and they add up till you find yourself almost back in the same position you were in. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. So think healthy about food. Think of it as the fuel that your body needs, that not necessarily that treat or that reward. Reward yourselves in other ways, a beautiful new set of jewelry or clothes, or an evening out with your husband or wife, or spending a nice afternoon on the beach with your kids. Just find other ways to reward yourselves besides thinking that those delectable goodies has to be the thing that you treat yourself with. Yeah, I know it's a lot harder to do than it is to say, but we're gonna do it. We're working out the processes of how we're thinking. We're noticing our pitfalls and we're gonna change them. We're gonna do it together. So that's just my little pep talk for you today. You let me know down below. Have you ever found yourself in the same place? Can you relate to what I'm saying? And if you have and you were able to overcome that, by all means, give us your tips down below. Help us all to see how you were able to change your mindset and how you were able to walk away from those faulty thought patterns concerning food and getting away with those delicious goodies. All right, I want to thank all of you so very much for sitting here with me a few minutes today, and I want to remind you, it really is possible to walk in divine health. It really is. We'll see you next time.